Welcome. Today I'm bringing one more video, Morroc on PvP and its capabilities. Thanks for all the questions raised on the last video that lead me to make this one. And let's check why Morroc loves Ymir book. First, let's remember what does not change when we load a new class build in 6v6 and other PvP maps. Attributes, runes, skill bar, and costume doesn't change when loading class build. So ensure your attributes and runes fit all the builds you want to use on PvP. Gears, cards, and relics will be updated to the new build loaded. Let's start talking about the goal of the full tank and hybrid builds. On both of those builds, you must survive without help from priest or soulbinder and work mainly as debuffer for your team. You must go hybrid or full tank, depending on how hard it is to stay alive. Your main goal is to reduce enemy team mobility with Orderless Shackle. You can see the chain range with the field that walks with Morroc. If enemies walk outside that range, the chain will break. Enemies inside of the area around Morroc will also take secondary debuffs from Demon King's array and will help you to get more stacks. On human form, your chain skill will be single target, so need to be more precise on using it. But previous existing chains will keep existing. Now let's talk about the usage of the DPS builds that I showed on previous video. Let's first configure dummy to be tankier. Let's start with HP loss build. This build is focused on dealing damage with Morroc passive, but it's harder to play with it once you would struggle to survive by your own. Even with Alinea dealing holy damage, many very tank players will change their armor card to Argiope if Morroc is the one that is making the enemy team drop. So it's important to use convert set to ensure your damage kicks in. Notice how much the damage increase once target is convert. At last, let's talk about the hardest build to use once it's the most situational and squishy one. The goal of this build is to deal damage with Dark Knight Storm, that is a skill from Morroc that can crit. This build is mostly created to deal damage to Soulbinder dummies created with Soul Judgment. Once those dummies take damage as monsters and not as players, so Morroc core passive works different on them. Also, this build can be used to stop orb collection once it hit more often than Morroc core skill. I'm not using convert set on this build. Which of those builds will last until next season? Will Morroc be tank only just as Jormungandr,